Hello everyone and welcome to a new weekly outlook videos. So we're going to start with the DXY as usual, and the DXY I want us to start from the monthly time frame. And so far as you can see, price tagged our monthly inversion fair value gap, and we've had this bearish move from this inversion fair value gap. So if price has retraced to an internal range liquidity, then the next thing we are expecting is price to go to the external range liquidity, and which in this case is here. So of course we will need to get confirmation for that. So if we look at the weekly, so this is what happened last week, and we did not. I really wanted to see us close below this low here, but we did not. That's still okay. So on the daily, we have this daily order block created here by price, and daily is the lower time frame for monthly. So after price tags a higher time frame key level, we get confirmation on the lower time frame aligned to that higher time frame. So daily is my aligned lower time frame for the higher time frame. So if we come to the daily, of course, as price was tagging our higher time frame key level, we have liquidity sweep here. We take out this low, so that's a liquidity sweep. Then we also have we don't have market structure shift. So market structure shift will happen when we get here. If you get a candle body closure below this low, that's a good sign. That will be a good confirmation that we are likely to see bearish price action, and as a result, of course, we'll be expecting bearish moves to this sell side liquidity and this sell side, finally this sell side liquidity, because this is the external range liquidity of the monthly time frame. So I'm expecting we might use this inversion fair value gap to push price lower. We might get a retracement. We might even get all the way to this order block because it's still inside this inversion fair value gap before we get our bearish move. So let's look at USDCHF. USDCHF is positively correlated with DXY. So if you're expecting bearish moves for DXY, USDCHF, you should also be anticipating the same thing. So if you look at USDCHF, of course, where price is at the moment, we have this monthly fair value gap. We're in the monthly time frame, remember? So this is an internal range liquidity, and you can see price has tagged this monthly fair value gap. Of course, this month of August, we have tagged this monthly fair value gap. So then, of course, if you're going to respect this, we expect that price after tagging an internal range liquidity, the next target is what? External range liquidity, which is this sell side liquidity down here. So on the weekly time frame, we have this weekly order block here created by price. Then we have this fair value gap here that has been tagged by price severally, but you can see all our candle body is still closing inside this fair value gap. We did not violate this fair value gap. So that's a good sign. That is really a good sign. So what I'm expecting, again, we're expecting to see bearish price action. We might tag this order block before we continue with the bearish move. And then apart from the order block, we have this volume imbalance. Volume imbalance is this gap created here by price. So yes, price might even retrace all the way to this volume imbalance before we get our bearish moves, or we'll just retrace to this order block and get our bearish move. So if we move to the daily USDCHF, this is the volume imbalance, the weekly volume imbalance, and this is the daily order block here, just around the same region with our weekly OB, which is right here. So yes, I'm expecting that we are going to retrace either to this volume imbalance, weekly volume imbalance, or these OBs here before we get the bearish moves. So let's look at GBPUSD. GBPUSD and DXY, they are negatively correlated. So GBPUSD, we have been looking at this monthly fair value gap as potential draw of liquidity, or at a point where the price will retrace to, and also this order block. And price was just a few pips shy away from tagging this monthly fair value gap, but that's okay. So we swept this low here, and then now this is July low, and we've had this price action the month of August. Remember, this is the last week of the month of August, so yeah. So let's look at the weekly, and on the weekly we can see we have this weekly order block which was tagged by price the week that just ended. So I'm looking at this order flow here, and this looks like a bullish order flow. So yeah, I'm anticipating that this might push price higher. And of course, with the DXY, we're anticipating that DXY is going to give us bearish price action. So those are good confluences. Because remember, pairs that are negatively correlated, we expect to see opposite directions. So let's look at the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame, we have this fair value gap here, and it's also a good thing we got liquidity sweep here, and we also have this order block here created by price, all these. So all these consecutive bearish candles which we have a bullish body close above them form our daily order block. So we're expecting that price might use this daily order block to push price higher. So we might get this retracement to any point of this order block before we finally get our bullish continuation. So let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hour is the lower time frame of a weekly key level. So we tagged a weekly order block, and we got liquidity sweep once we took out these lows, and these lows. So that's liquidity sweep. Then we have market structure shift here. So yeah, so we have all this fair value gap, which we're expecting that price will retrace to this fair value gap before giving us, before we get the bullish price action. Euro USD and GBP USD are positively correlated, so you can just go through Euro USD and I'm sure you'll be able to figure out what the market is doing. So let's look at gold, and we'll start with the monthly time frame. If you're not going to close as an inside month, this month of August, we only have some few days left. We close the month, actually 5 days. So this week, I'm looking at this previous month high as our potential target, because you can see the month of June, no, the month of July, we closed as an inside month. We did not take out the previous month high and the previous month low. So if you're not closing as an inside month and you only have 1 week left, so I'm anticipating that we are going to take out the previous month high. So let's look at the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame, you can see we have this fair value gap here created by price, and you can see we tagged this fair value gap, and this is what we have. We have created this daily order block here. I want to see price invert this fair value gap. So then I'll be expecting that we might get a retracement to this daily order block before we continue with the bullish move. So if you look at the 4 hour, this is a good bullish displacement, and you can see we closed above these highs, and these highs. We just swept these highs. So we have this fair value gap here. So of course, you're expecting to see a retracement to this fair value gap. This is a big fair value gap before we continue with the bullish move. So before we proceed, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to this channel, like the video, and also you can comment. So let's look at JPY pairs, and we'll start with the yen basket. And JPY pairs has been a little bit tricky for the past few weeks. So if you look at the monthly, so far, okay, we have this monthly order block, and this is where price is at the moment. So if you're going to get a bullish move, then most likely we might tag this monthly order block, because we've been anticipating to see displacement lower, but the market has been showing us something different, and we have to work with the market. So if we look at the weekly, of course we tagged this weekly fair value gap, and we were anticipating that this weekly fair value gap would push price lower, but instead this is what we have. So if we invert this weekly fair value gap, then I'm anticipating that you would use this weekly fair value gap to push price higher to this monthly order block. But as of now, we are still within this weekly fair value gap. So let's just watch and see what price will do. If we do not invert this and respect it, still, of course, we'll expect that this weekly fair value gap would push price lower. So if we look at GBPJPY, let's start with the weekly. And so far, what do we have? You can see we have this order block here, which was tagged by price last week. So on the daily time frame, what do we have so far? So if you look at this price action, we have this volume imbalance here, which was tagged by price on Thursday and Friday, and we got this price action on Friday, and we also have this fair value gap here. So GBPJPY, I'm going to watch the yen basket. If we invert the fair value gap, the weekly fair value gap, and get bullish price action with the yen pair, with the yen basket, then I'm expecting that GBPJPY will be giving us bearish move. Then we'll be expecting bearish setups, and we will be having this order block here, and also this volume imbalance as potential key levels that can push price lower. However, if we do not, and we respect, and maybe the weekly fair value gap in the yen basket pushes price lower, then you'll be expected to see what bullish price action for GBP JPY. So CADJPY, if we look at the weekly time frame, so far we have this bearish order block. As you can see, price tagged this bearish order block. So that's all I see on the weekly. So if you move to the daily time frame, uh, we had this low, we got a retracement, and then we made a lower low, and so far we have this retracement here, and we have this order block here. So if you look at the daily structure, we look like we are likely to be having a bearish price action. And so if we get a bearish move, I'm expecting that we might get to this sell side liquidity here. And we have this order block here that has been tagged by price. So if you're getting bearish move, then I'm anticipating that this order block would be used to push price lower to this sell side liquidity. However, if we're expecting bullish price action, then you know what to do. But so far, this bearish move for CADJPY looks good. And if that happens, most likely you're going to get that the yen basket is going to invert the weekly fair value gap, and we're likely to get bullish price action for the yen basket. Then that will be good confluence to work with for bearish moves for CADJPY, GBPJPY, EUROJPY, AUDJPY. So let's look at NAS 100. And if you look at NAS 100, we've been at all-time highs, and the order flow and structure is still bullish. Our monthly fair value gap is still intact. Price has not tagged our monthly fair value gap. So if you look at the weekly time frame, we have this weekly order block, which was tagged by price this week. We tagged, and this is how we closed. So if we look at the daily time frame, so of course this is our monthly fair value gap here. We've had this bearish move, and then we have this fair value gap here. So it would be nice if we invert this fair value gap, because that will be good confirmation of a bullish continuation or bullish price action. So this is what we're likely to have, or this fair value gap can be still used to push price lower. So let's look at the 4 hour, and on the 4 hour we have this fair value gap here, and of course this is a daily inversion fair value gap. So we are likely to, if you're going to get bullish price action using the weekly OB as a key level that is pushing price higher, then we want to see retracement to this 4 hour fair value gap before we get the bullish move, and we might retrace all the way to this point where this daily inversion fair value gap is. And also, if you still look at the 4 hour time frame, we have market structure shift, and we have liquidity sweep created by price. So if you're going to use the weekly as our higher time frame key level, so we already have what we need.